While the world marvels at China's gleaming skyscrapers, high-speed trains, and bustling airports, a different reality pulses in the shadows. Beneath the neon glow lies a society stretched thin, youth unemployed, millions homeless, delivery workers racing against exhaustion, and colossal infrastructure projects teetering on the brink of failure. These are the people and the numbers the authorities hope to hide, yet they cannot remain concealed forever. In the sprawling cities of China, delivery workers, known as riders, form the backbone of urban life. Yet behind the fast-moving scooters and timely drop-offs is a relentless cycle of exploitation and survival. In Shijiazhuang, Hebei province, a shocking incident on November 4th shook public opinion. A delivery rider, pressed by wage cuts and mistreatment, resorted to stabbing his station manager after being assaulted. Colleagues report that he had once been promised 5 CNY per order. After leaving, the pay dropped to 1 CNY per order, and deductions swallowed up to 80% of earnings. The managers at many stations will arbitrarily withhold wages, one internet host said. Then they demand gifts, cigarettes, bribes. It's a dark system. The internal hierarchy is harsh. Station managers control assignments, obey and earn a livable load, resist and face fines or fewer orders. In my station, 30 riders each hand the manager a pack of cigarettes to get better delivery slots, said Wang from Xi'an. If you're on bad terms, the distant or tough locations are yours alone. The manager is a small local authority. They extract whatever profit they can. Riders also face harassment from security guards and bystanders, a constant reminder of the perilous nature of the job. Delivery workers are at the bottom, said Liu from Tianjin. No power, no resources. Many people just have to endure the exploitation because there is nowhere else to turn. Yet, the industry continues to attract more workers. University graduates, failed entrepreneurs, even mothers with children flock to this low-barrier, high-risk profession. I was a clothing store owner, said Chen from Shenzhen. But my shop closed. Now I deliver food. I don't rest. I keep riding, non-stop. Last month I ran 2,500 orders. On one day, I had to spend 1,500 CNY on parts. It's brutal. My body aches everywhere. The internal competition is fierce. Age limits exist, typically 1845. Beyond that, you are considered too old, too slow, too vulnerable. Huang, a 19-year-old from Guangzhou, described her days. I work 8 to 9 hours, delivering 20-30 orders, earning around 200 CNY. It's exhausting, but what choice do we have? Zhao, 30, from Anhui's Suzhou city, must support her family and pay a mortgage. Since August, she's been delivering food, losing 7 kilograms in 3 months. I can only work nearby, she said. 10-12 orders a day, 50-60 CNY. Sometimes I work 10 hours and make barely 200-300 CNY. After deductions, maybe 600 CNY. Some female riders push themselves to extremes. One friend of Zhao works from 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. every night, determined to earn a living. In Hubei, a college student, Ma works deliveries to pay tuition. It's hard. I can't sleep well. Life is bitter. Deliveries are tough. Climbing stairs, facing all sorts of indignities. I often get stuck in dead-end alleys for half an hour. The pressure is deadly. In the first half of this year, delivery workers across Shanghai, Chongqing, Guizhou, and Sichuan have suffered sudden deaths. On November 2nd, Hunan recorded a rider jumping into a river, taking his life. As one rider admitted, with the nationwide employment freeze, young people unable to find factory jobs or office work turn to deliveries and ride-hailing services. The platforms never lack workers, so pay per order drops further, intensifying the brutal cycle. While delivery riders push their limits to survive, millions of young people are left with no roof over their heads. Recent reports estimate approximately 24.1 million homeless individuals across China, a staggering 5.3-fold increase compared to 5 years ago. Shockingly, 61% are youth, a demographic the government often seeks to obscure. On any given night in major cities, bridges, underpasses, and abandoned corners become homes. Some build makeshift shelters beneath highways to escape the cold and rain. Here, a precarious stability can be carved out. One young man traveling from Wuhan explained, "I'm on a frugal trip. The sun is strong, so I rest in the shade during the day. I survive by posting short videos online and doing live streams. Followers send a little money. That's my daily food." He spends 7 to 8 CNY a day on basic living expenses. Despite the hardship, he treats the small tent under the bridge as a home. Another resident, Mei Li, had lived in a tiny hole under a bridge for a month. When rain threatened to flood her shelter, she packed up her belongings, knowing that nature can destroy everything in an instant. Others have turned survival into a semblance of community. Simple kitchens, shared water and electricity, even pets are integrated into their makeshift households. Small networks of mutual aid form among them, providing support in an otherwise indifferent urban environment. "I'm not alone here. There are others under this bridge," Meili explained. "We share what we have, try to save money, and find some comfort in each other's presence." Homeless youth are not merely passive victims. Many document their lives online, showing a blend of resourcefulness and optimism amidst adversity. Yet these acts of visibility cannot change the systemic issues. The background is stark. Unemployment rates soar, particularly among young adults. As of mid-2023, youth unemployment reached 21.3%, the highest in decades. In major industries like IT and real estate, layoffs are rampant. Short-term jobs are scarce and poorly paid. Even those earning 4,000 CNY monthly find themselves paying 3,000 CNY for rent alone. For many, sleeping under bridges is a rational choice. It saves rent and allows them to retain minimal savings, offering a fragile hope for the future. "I didn't choose to be homeless," said a young man living under an overpass. "But staying here is better than being on the streets, and it helps me save for something later, even if that something is still far away." Authorities often attempt to disrupt these informal settlements. Steel barriers or concrete obstacles are placed to prevent people from camping under bridges. Residents may be asked to produce city registration or forcibly moved if they are not local. Yet the persistent reality is that homelessness, especially among young people, is a growing social crisis that cannot simply be erased. The stark contrast between China's gleaming towers and this hidden population underscores a country at a crossroads. On one side, the narrative of modernization and prosperity. On the other, the daily struggle of millions navigating unemployment, high rents, and the precarious balance between survival and despair. Above the streets where the homeless scrape by and delivery riders risk their lives, China's skyline tells a different story, or so it seems. Massive airports, sprawling subway networks, and high-speed rail lines are often presented as symbols of economic strength and modernization. Yet a closer look reveals glaring cracks beneath the neon lights. Shanghai Pudong International Airport, once a crown jewel of Chinese infrastructure, now stands almost deserted. Its two massive terminals, opened in 2021, once handled over 70 million passengers annually. Today, videos shared on social media show ghostly corridors, shuttered stores, and sparse travelers, the echo of a former hub of international tourism. Staff report that most international flights operate at low capacity. Some foreign airlines have completely withdrawn, and domestic recovery lags behind expectations. Revenue streams that once relied heavily on duty-free sales have collapsed, while non-aeronautical costs continue to mount. Similarly, the nation's ambitious high-speed rail projects tell a story of mismanaged dreams. In October, villagers in Gyeongsang province resisted the demolition of homes for a 290-kilometer railway, which cost $8.7 billion to construct. Bulldozers tore through fields, while residents tried to block the machines with their bodies. Elderly villagers climbed rooftops in defiance, leaving at least 7 injured, a stark reminder that even grand infrastructure comes at a human cost. The railway is just a line on the map, but for us, it destroys our homes and livelihoods, said one resident. Across the country, smaller airports and new transport projects face similar fates. Reports indicate that over 60% of newly built airports process fewer than 3 million passengers annually, many operating far below designed capacity. State-owned companies managing these infrastructures face mounting debt, mass layoffs, and shrinking profits, even as political pressures push for continued construction. These ghost airports and underutilized railways are not isolated anomalies. They mirror systemic overinvestment, mismanagement, and a reliance on speculative growth, a pattern that haunts local communities, government finances, and the everyday lives of citizens. The state touts these mega projects as national achievements, while the ground reality shows empty halls, unpaid workers, and disrupted communities. The larger picture: a nation divided between appearance and reality. When we trace the human impact of China's economic decline, the contrast is stark. Above ground, ambitious projects and soaring towers promise prosperity. Beneath them, delivery riders collapse from exhaustion, youth sleep under bridges, and families struggle to pay rent or survive layoffs. Mega projects and ghost infrastructure become symbols of a system prioritizing image over people. Economic decay, unchecked infrastructure ambition, and rising unemployment converge to create a society of extremes. Prosperity is visible, yet hollow. Opportunity exists, yet is inaccessible to many. The illusions of modernity mask systemic pressures that ripple through every layer of society, from the busiest airport terminal to the coldest underpass. The lights still shine on cities like Shanghai, Beijing, and Shenzhen. The high-speed trains run on time, duty-free shops gleam, but behind the facade lies a different China, one shaped by fear, uncertainty, and resilience under pressure. For millions of young people, for delivery riders racing through streets, for those who call a bridge or overpass home, life is a daily negotiation with survival. They whisper about lost jobs, homes, and dreams, and yet they endure. Modernization in China may be a spectacle, but the reality is gritty, fragile, and human. The streets, the bridges, the underused airports, and the stalled projects are all part of the same story. A nation balancing between illusion and survival, between the spectacle it shows the world and the lives of those living in its shadow. This is China Undercover. The lights are on, but the heartbeat of many is fragile. The show of prosperity continues, but the struggle beneath it is very real.